What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since I've done a trade recap on YouTube, but this week there's been some great trading opportunities presented in the market. Yesterday I had a realized gain of $1,200, and today I had a realized gain of $1,600. So I wanted to focus specifically today on today's short setup in the market. Um, NQ and ES have been acting uncorrelated, and they've been offering some great opportunities, both long and short. Today's setup was a short setup, so I just wanted to talk about what I was looking for from trade thesis to all the way to trade execution to trade management and my emotions during the trade. So without further ado, let's get into it. So yesterday, to start the week, we had this opening gap that failed to go higher, and um, inside of this range down, I took a short opportunity here. But the reason why this ended up bouncing higher was because there was an SMT at these lows where ES was able to sweep these lows, and NQ failed to do so. Uh, so after we had that sweep of internal sell side liquidity, NQ, which was the stronger leading asset, made its way all the way back to the all time highs for today, for this week so far. And we can see as NQ made its way back to the weekly highs, there's a big bearish divergence here where ES is not able to gain any momentum to the upside. This is really just a balance off of the gap up, a rebalance off of the gap up, and then move down. Um, there's a large bearish SMT right here. So now that I see this bearish SMT, I want to look for the overnight session and what the story of the overnight session was. Um, so after marking out this SMT right here, I am going to drill down to the 15 minute, and I'm going to look at the uh, liquidity story from overnight. So basically, what I'm looking for is if price wanted to go higher, I first would have liked to see it sweep out sell side liquidity first from a previous session below the midnight open. That's if as if I was bullish going into today, um, which I originally was. But when I got to the charts this morning, I saw that the Asia session low did not sweep out liquidity in yesterday's session. There's no liquidity swept here. And then the London session did not sweep out Asia session low or any previous liquidity low. So that is already first and foremost a red flag for me today in regards to taking any long entries. Um, so my plan for coming into today was two scenarios really. The first scenario would be to see a manipulation lower into these levels and then a possible move higher, or NQ just continues to kind of just move at its own pace going up. And in that case, there would be no scenario where I enter a trade. So before market open, we have kind of this consolidation right here, and this is starting to look like a New York reversal profile to me, where there was no liquidity swept to go higher, and then the New York session could possibly manipulate higher from these all-time highs, where there's this large bearish SMT from the higher time frame to possibly go lower. So coming into today's session, like right before market open, what I wanted to see was one last manipulation leg higher to then go lower to target first the uh, New York AM session lows so far, and then other targets could be the London session low, Asia session low, and then these relatively equal lows from yesterday. So now that we have that going into market open, we had this push higher, and during this push higher, there's another bearish SMT here, where NQ took out this pre-market high, and ES failed to do so. Okay, so as we are pushing higher, ES is still sustaining bearish momentum to the downside. So now that I see that we've taken out this last leg of liquidity right here, this buy side liquidity, I want to shift down to a 1 minute chart and see if there's any opportunity for me to get in short to target my levels of sell side liquidity. The first thing that points out to me, that jumps out to me for a possible short entry, is we have a uh, bearish change in the state of delivery, a bearish order block right here, basically just a change in order flow right here. Okay, so we have this change in order flow right here. I took my short entry right here at the closure of the change in the state of delivery to the downside with my stop above this protected swing high. My first target was, like I said, this low right here from the morning to the pre-market lows, resting at 23,572 and a half, and this moved fairly quickly. We ended up getting the move within 10 minutes to this sell side liquidity level. So I took some profits there, and then I left the rest for London sell side. I ended up moving my stop loss to break even right here. I moved my stop loss to break even because NQ was sweeping out only the pre-market lows, while ES was sweeping out its London lows. So I wanted to protect myself against a reversal, and that is this is where I want to talk about moving stop losses, especially in these market conditions. One thing that I'm noticing in this very time is like price has been extremely wick heavy lately, where sell side could be taken and then there could be more downside, but NQ rebalances all the way into the middle of the range before going lower and taking out further areas of sell side liquidity. So one thing that I've been doing to combat that and me staying in trades longer is not moving my stop loss inside of that range. And that brings me to 2 points. One, I'm not moving my stop loss into the range because there's no opportunity for me to get possibly wicked out inside of that, because my trade thesis still isn't invalid. And two, this requires me to kind of have better entries that are closer to my invalidation point. Because if I have an entry that's closer to my invalidation point, I'll have more room for the trade to breathe during it after my first take profit is hit. So I moved my stop loss to break even there. ES was taking the London lows, while NQ was only taking the pre-market lows from the New York AM session. And then, as you see, we consolidate here, and then we ended up moving lower after the 10 a.m. news. And I took profit again. I took everything off at the London session low at 23,541 and a half. And then price continued to just run lower and ended up taking out every single liquidity level that I had mapped out for today. And it's since just been kind of just been teetering around the sell side level. But this was the trade for today. I think this is a phenomenal setup considering that FOMC is tomorrow, considering the volatility that has been entering the market lately. There's been a lot of great opportunities. Trading on my funded accounts right now, and they're going pretty well. Should be taking a payout soon from them, so I'll be updating you guys with that. But other than that, I've kind of just been sticking to my same process of refining my understanding of daily profiles. And then once you understand the daily profiles and you can tell the story from overnight based on how the liquidity has been swept and the way price is moving, things become much easier to read. And as a result, you're able to catch large moving trades like this one that I caught today. But that's all I have for today. I'm more than likely going to be coming out with a YouTube video soon about how I've been journaling. That's been helping me with my trading tremendously. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you want to see any videos, feel free to reach out to me. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys next time.